That's rough, this is love.
Oh. But I want to show the ring. Hey, it's Eric Kim. I'm a food columnist for the New York Times. And today we're gonna make my Marry Me salmon. This is a fun recipe that was a collaboration between my editor and me. She was sort of like, it'd be fun to marry me another protein. What about salmon? Has anyone done that before? And a few people had. But it's funny, this recipe kind of reminds me of the gochujang butter noodles. Anything that you drape in a sauce made of cream and sun-dried tomato is gonna be pretty good. I like this recipe because it's not marry me chicken. I think marry me chicken is the thing that you cook before you propose to them. I thought it'd be more interesting to address a different scenario, which is, for me, what do you cook for your partner when you're already married? Okay, salt and pepper. I'm just gonna season it pretty generously because the sauce will have as much salt as you wanna add to it. Otherwise, these ingredients aren't really that salty. Salt and pepper. Okay, so we're gonna heat a non-stick skillet. Sun-dried tomato is sort of one of the main flavorings in Marry Me sauce, right? So I figured you already have the oil in that jar, why not use it? So get that really hot. And they always say, lay it down away from you, right? And I like to press down a little bit. You could use a meat press if you want, but I just like to make sure it really has that contact. Second one goes in. You're just letting that go for about 5 to 7 minutes. So this salmon sears entirely on the skin side. The flesh side gets poached in the sauce later. Wear a sweater you don't care about. The smaller fillet kind of needs to come out. Watch out, it's hot. And I'm going to transfer it like this. We want to maintain the crispy. Nice, that's really hard. We have this glorious salmon fat. I don't want it to be too hot, because it was really hot. And so just adjust accordingly, and what I'm actually gonna do is, I think I wanna transfer some of the fat, because this salmon was so fatty. You want the onion to be fine chopped because you want it to melt into the sauce. The onion will absorb a lot of the fat, and as it releases its moisture, it's gonna start browning. I'm reducing it even more because now I wanna bloom the spices. So I added the remaining sun-dried tomato oil, but I did it so that there's loose fat that could catch the spices. So dried oregano goes in, red pepper flakes, AKA crushed red pepper. This step is really encouraging the flavors to really just pop. It makes a big difference. Why wouldn't you do this? I think a lot of recipes just have you put everything in the pan at once, but there's no reason not to do this. I'm actually gonna add the tomato paste now and maybe turn the heat back on. Now it's time for the clam juice. And I'm gonna reduce this down before I add the cream. We're just building our sauce. What I really want to achieve is the kind of vodka sauce or pink sauce that you have at an Italian-American restaurant. I think some of the best ones are kind of brothy. The point of this sauce then is just consistently trying to take each piece of a classic red sauce and just dial it down a little bit so that it can match the salmon, which is really more delicate but also rich. I knew I wanted to thin out the sauce somehow while still maintaining umami and savoriness. Genevieve had the amazing idea of clam juice. And at first I was like, that's insane. And then I wanted to taste more of the sea. It smells like clams. It smells like mussels marinara. It smells like, I love a seafood pasta. Actually, it's one of my partner's favorite dishes. Okay, I'm feeling pretty good about this. The liquid's reduced enough for the bubbles to be this small, which shows you, it's not like large bubbles. Large bubbles that signify that there's too much water, or there's more water than you want, but these small, steady bubbles, it's weird. When you study the bubbles, you really know how something's cooking. I would love to hear all of your proposal stories. How did you propose to your partners? After I got the ring, after my friend helped me pick out these rings, I asked him to meet me on 15th Street in front of Chelsea Market because that's where we used to both work back in the day before we met each other. I was at the Food Network and he was at another company there. It's interesting because they share a stairwell, and I love imagining all the times we've crossed paths or maybe even looked at each other or didn't, and I love the sliding doors sort of aspect of our past life. So as he was walking from 9th Ave and I was walking from 10th Ave, I had these $10 rings in my pocket, and And I started taking one of them out, and I got down on a knee, and it took him a while to realize what was going on, but he said yes. And then there was a small crowd nearby, and they applauded. It was really simple. It was nice. Now we're gonna add the cream. We're just gonna now bring this to a gentle simmer. I'm gonna add the sun-dried tomatoes at this stage too. But something about creamy tomato sauces, it's just so comforting. Awesome. It tastes so good. Okay, so this is looking good, and it's actually a little thick, but the salmon's gonna release some moisture actually as it simmers for like a minute. But a lot of the best textures when it comes to protein involves crispy skin, shattering, and like yielding to really plush, soft, tender meat. So now we're just gonna plate it up and eat it. I just wanna show you. Do you hear that? Very satisfying. I'm actually going to just cut it. Ooh. I don't know if you can see it, but it's very plush. I kept saying plush. I think some people would think that's like undercooked, but it's actually the perfect temperature for me. Damn. That's good salmon. There's something about this sauce that just really works with it. It kind of tastes like pizza. The sauce definitely tastes like pizza, and I love what it's doing for the salmon. It's so good. I'm looking at this room. There are a bunch of people with partners at home, and you should make this for your partner, because it's all you need are 2 salmon fillets, and in 30 minutes. It's truly a 30-minute recipe. This is about the proposal. This is at the bottom of the Marry Me story. No one told me that when I got down on a knee last August and asked my partner to marry me, that nothing would change. There would still be dishes to do, bills to pay, and laundry to sort. But having fit this dish into our busy lives time and again, I realized that marriage is the everyday parts, the parade of weeknight dinners over the occasional date night. Marry me truly can mean anything, but above all, it's when the ordinary becomes transcendent.